Hey guys, Dadman here, and thanks for stopping by. Today we're on Canyon Calamity so that we can take a deep dive into the scientist and find out how he stacks up against other ranged heroes, how to use him efficiently, and if you stick around until the end, you'll find out if you should be using him in your deck. So, let's do this. Alright, so the first thing I wanted to talk about for the scientist is his amazing range at 16.5 or 24.75 with the Balloon Pal. I think this is one of the huge benefits of using the scientist in your deck. As you can see here with the Balloon Pal, he covers about half of this entire map. I mentioned the Balloon Pal immediately when reviewing the scientist, which I don't do with a lot of other heroes. It's just he's so important with the scientist, I just thought I'd talk about it immediately. They just go together like peanut butter and jelly or hot dogs and mustard. Get out of here, you ketchup people. No, okay, you can stay. This works well on a lot of other maps as well, like Easter Eggland, Desolate Desert, and I have a video on maximizing DPS on Desolate Desert you can check out right now in the upper right. Also Volcano Valley, Silent Sanctuary, and the list goes on and on and on. Jumping into the garage, I want to point out that he is one of the cheapest heroes to max. One scientist costs 13,250 mana, and 5 will cost you 66,250. That is the second cheapest ranged hero, and the first place only beats him by 130 total mana, and that's Bebo. You can see that the scientist does 1,708 damage to our standard alien, and at 5 max heroes, that's 8,540 damage in a straight line. That's the fourth best DPS below Sparks, Bebo, and Fracture. The damage numbers are actually very close to Fracture and Bebo. Fracture's max damage is less than 300 higher, and Bebo is less than 500 higher, and that's with max heroes. His range isn't the only thing going for him. He also has the lowest max hero count at 5, which is important, especially if you play in large groups of 4 or more, but he still has very good DPS. A few others beat him out in max damage output, but he's still very competitive in that regard. Alright, let's jump into the live action now. So, as you can see here, I put down 5 scientists, which is the max, and what I did was I leveled them all the way up to level 5 without using any other things like the Balloon Pal or the Spectre or the Yasukis or anything like that. So I just put down 5, leveled them up to level 5, and then once I had no more things to use mana on, then I went ahead and started putting down other things like the Balloon Pal and the Spectre and the Yasuki. This is different than the Wizard video that I have, which you can check out in the upper right hand corner here on a deep dive into the Wizard, because with the Wizards I still had mana that I could spend on just the Wizards when I was trying to boost them. With the scientists, I had no more mana to spend on them, so that's the benefit of them. With only having 5 of them and the amount of DPS they can do is that you can level them up quickly and then move on to other characters and not have to waste all that extra mana on leveling them up like you did with the Wizard. So you can see here, I didn't quite get past wave 35, and it was because I just didn't have quite enough mana at the end to level up my Yasukis to be able to handle the amount of DPS needed. So now we're going to jump into the final attempt, and on this try I went ahead and used my Lemonade Cats directly from the start, and I only leveled up Lemonade Cats and Scientists until my Scientists were completely maxed, and then I started dropping in like the Balloon Pal and the Spectre and the Yasukis and things like that, which did end up ultimately making it so that I could complete the level. Now, I did use the boost for the Spectre and the Yasuki. It's a boss battle. That's what you're going to do anyway. And I had enough mana, and my scientists were fully leveled, like I mentioned earlier. So I figured, you know what? Let's go ahead and beat this boss. So let's go back and answer a few of those lingering questions that I posed at the very beginning of the battle. Do I think the scientist is better than the other higher max damage heroes like Sparks, Fracture, and Bebo? Well, the answer is yes, and the reason is because Sparks costs more mana, a lot more mana. Fracture has a really big footprint, a higher max hero count, lower range, and costs 16,000 more mana to max. Now, Bebo's a different story. Bebo and Scientist, I could say, are pretty interchangeable. It's kind of a what flavor do you like better. In my opinion, the main drawback of the Bebo is his movement. While sometimes it helps, like depending on the map, I personally like the consistency that the Scientist gives me. He won't fly out of range on that last shot that you need. Some people love the Bebo, and I'd say they're pretty interchangeable. So should you be using it in your deck? Absolutely. This is probably, if not the first hero I would buy, it would be the second. The first might be the Lemonade Cat, because Lemonade Cat's just, you got to have that almost in every deck, especially if you're soloing. Now, if you're not soloing, that's a whole nother story, which will be in another video at another time. But as far as the Scientist goes, absolutely. I say he is an A tier. I wouldn't put him in the S tier. There's very few that I put in the S tier, and I will be doing a video eventually on the tier of all of them put together. But that'll be after I do these deep dives on all of them. But I would definitely put him in that upper A range. If you like what you've seen here, consider dropping a like. Also, if you want to see more deep dive videos or other Tower Hero content, subscribe now so you're alerted when new content comes out. It should be very soon. Thanks again for stopping by, and I'll see you in the next one.